for our viewers, let's try and explain about a full service airline versus a low cost carrier, and how this really has evolved.
Yeah, so I guess in the early days, I mean, flying itself was considered very much a luxury. I mean, you had to have money, you had to be part of more of an elite class to even afford to fly. And this is because buying airplanes were expensive. Airplane technology wasn't all that great. The number of models there weren't very fuel efficient models on the market. Airport infrastructure was limited. Everything about the industry was in its infancy. And so that made the cost of doing business a lot higher, at least if you were going to operate a commercial passenger carrier. So by virtue of that reality, all airlines were sort of full service. They were premium. You know, when you flew them, there wasn't a segmentation between, I'm going to select this seat on this plane. I'm going to pay to have my carry-on. That's ridiculous. I mean, if you paid one price and it was very expensive, it was in the hundreds of dollars one way for a very short flight. Yeah, it was what I like to do is compare sort of people's earning power or how much they make in a month to the cost of a plane ticket. And you're talking, 10 to 15 times your monthly salary to go fly on a one-way domestic flight. It's just not affordable, right? And again, that's by virtue of the fact that flying was very expensive. And then also early on, flying was heavily regulated. So regulation existed where governments basically told airlines what routes they could fly, and then they fixed prices to ensure or enable that airlines were actually profiting or making money on the passenger side of things. But then over time, introducing more fuel efficient planes, you're removing this regulation, introducing more competition, people getting more creative around the business model, introducing stuff like the hub and spoke model, which is more efficiently moves people from point A to point B, better aircraft utilization with such structures makes it less expensive to do business, basically. And so it was a race to the bottom or race to the top. You're looking at profits and the emergence of, these models like Southwest and Ryanair, where it's focused on extreme volume and, single fleet type, single cabin class, unbundling of fares, concepts like that make flying a lot more affordable and accessible, but also makes the experience a lot tougher and bare bones if you're used to flying a full service carrier. So in my mind, it's low cost basically evolved by virtue of, changes in government structures and regulations and just the modernization of technology, the emergence of more fuel efficient aircraft, and I guess just innovation in general in the industry.